Dude, have you ever tried to lose belly fat to see your abs, but no matter how clean you eat in your diet, or even cut out all of the crap that you're eating right now, to then doing sit-ups until you are crippled on the floor, or maybe you've even considered taking fat loss pills to get results. But no matter what you seem to do or even try, you can just never actually get results, and the belly fat is always still there. Well, in this video, I am going to share with you exactly how to finally see your abs, because the truth is, we all have them. We all have abs. The difference is you just can't see yours yet. But we're going to change that today to help you get rid of that stubborn belly fat. Now, the tips and advice I'm about to give you are exactly what I have followed myself that have allowed me to completely transform my physique over the last 10 weeks in preparation of my first bodybuilding competition. Now, sure, you might not be getting ready to step on stage like I am, but the principles and advice remain exactly the same, because fat loss is fat loss. No matter what your goals are, it is the exact same process that you have to follow. Now, unless you are brand new to the world of fitness, you've probably heard people say abs are made in the kitchen, but what the hell does that even mean? Having visible abs comes down to your diet and your nutrition. So to see your abs, your main goal needs to be to decrease the total amount of body fat that you're carrying. Now, there is no thing as spot reduction, and I made this mistake when I was 15, when I was overweight and had a lot of fat around my midsection, and I would be there on the floor doing sit-ups until I could not move, and no matter how many sit-ups I did, the fat would never go. Why? Because my diet and nutrition was still shit, and you cannot outwork a bad diet. Now, the only way you can lose body fat naturally is by being in a calorie deficit. Now, how long you actually need to be in a calorie deficit for is completely different person to person. It depends on how much body fat you're carrying, how many days per week do you train, do you even lift right now, how much cardio do you do, what's your activity level like, what's stress, what's sleep like. So many different factors go into fat loss. So look at it like this instead: it takes as long as it takes. You was in no rush to gain the fat, so don't be in a rush to lose the fat, because that is where you'll start to make mistakes, and that's where it's going to make your fat loss journey a hell of a lot harder. Now, definitely for us guys, where we store fat the most is in our midsection and lower back, and more often than not, it's the last place that it does come off when we are trying to lose fat, and that's why we call it stubborn fat, because it's the last place it seems to go. But it's called stubborn fat, not impossible fat, so it is possible to get rid of it. But that comes down to being in a calorie deficit and the quality of the food choices that you eat whilst you are in a calorie deficit. Could I get a medium chocolate milkshake, please?
Yeah, anything else?
Yeah, medium burger and medium fries. I said you've got to have quality food, not me. Lovely, thank you very much. Thank you, have a good day. I'm only joking, dude. My coach would actually kill me if he saw me eating anything like this 8 weeks out from my competition. But a big misconception a lot of people have when it does come to diet and nutrition is that we have good foods and then we have bad foods. But we don't, we just have food. One banana on its own is good. 100 of these, probably not so good. Now, sure, we have foods that are good quality, and then we have others that probably aren't as good quality. She gave me 2 straws for 1 shake. Okay, that's fine, because these always go soft because we need to save the turtles. But all a calorie really is a measurement of energy. In the same way we use pounds or kilos to track weight, scale weight, for example, we use calories to track energy. Now, your body can't actually tell the difference of a calorie coming from any of these foods. It just sees it as a calorie and a carbohydrate. But you can probably guess which food is the best choice to have. The Sour Patch Kids. And to actually support flexible dieting, a randomized study was conducted in 2021 that tested 23 male and female lifters, to where one group followed a flexible approach to dieting and weight loss, and the other group actually followed a more rigid approach to dieting and weight loss. And what the study actually concluded was that there was no significant difference in weight loss between the 2 groups. The rigid group of dieters only lost 0.4 kilos more than that of the flexible dieters. So there was no significant difference in the study to support that following a rigid approach to dieting is superior to that of a flexible approach. So this McDonald's meal right here, which is a medium milkshake, a medium burger, and a medium fries, and of course tomato ketchup, is over 1,000 calories. And for 1,000 calories only has 30 grams of protein. Now, I've got the calories on screen from McDonald's so you can see exactly what the calorie content is for everything here. Meanwhile, this is what I'm having for my dinner whilst on prep, and I'll put the macros on screen so you can see exactly what the macros are for this meal. So whilst it is definitely possible to lose weight following it if it fits your macros approach, it doesn't mean that you always should and that it is actually the best approach for you. The problem with a meal like this is that it doesn't doesn't leave you feeling full, and it leads to over consuming on your calories, and over consuming on your calories is what results in weight and fat gain. Let's say that you just went out and bought a Ferrari and now you need to fill up the tank with fuel. When you go to fill the tank up, are you going to be putting in the cheap fuel, or are you going to get the super unleaded fuel and fill the tank with that? You're going to get super unleaded. Why? Because it's a Ferrari, and you might not know it yet, but you are actually worth more than a Ferrari, because on the dark web, a kidney, yes, a kidney goes for $250,000, which is actually the same price as a GT3 RS. So if you do see me driving around in a GT3 in the future, you know why, because I've got 2 kidneys, so I could still have 1 kidney and then have a GT3 RS, which is a pretty good trade in my opinion. But when it comes to dieting, it doesn't mean that you need to be super restrictive with the food choices that you make all the time. And if it fits your macros, can work really well when it does come to fat loss and weight loss, especially to get those abs, because it doesn't allow you to be super restrictive, which is extremely important for long-term results and to give it enough time for you to actually shred that belly fat. All it means is that you just can't take the piss with flexible dieting. Now, how I like to use if it fits your macros when I'm not in prep is that I'll take 10 to 20% of my daily calorie total, and then I'll allocate that towards foods that, yeah, sure, they might not be the most nutritional benefit, but satisfy any cravings that I might have. Because a balanced diet consists of foods that are going to help you and serve towards actually achieving your fat loss and weight loss goals, but at the same time, not being super restrictive all of the time. So we've covered that abs are made in the kitchen because it comes down to a calorie deficit and the food choices that you make so that you don't overconsume on your calories on a day-to-day basis as well, but how you can actually use if it fits your macros to make sure that you don't have a super restrictive diet. But do you actually need to train your abs in the gym if you've already got them? So do you need to train your abs even though you already technically have abs? And this honestly annoys the shit out of me when people say, I don't need to train my abs because I already have abs. You already have pecs, biceps, triceps, and quads, but yet we still train them in the gym. Why do we train them? So that they get stronger, they look aesthetically better. The same principles apply to your abs, but people just neglect them all the time. So if you want to actually have a decent set of looking abs, once you've been able to shred all of the belly fat through being in a calorie deficit, you need to actually train them consistently, twice per week like any other muscle group. Because abs aren't just for people to be miring over, they actually serve a purpose. The main purpose is obviously protecting your vital organs, but alongside that, they allow you to have improved posture, strengthen your core, which is going to help you in your lifts, and also strengthen your lower back. Now, you can't necessarily help how your abs look. If you have a 2-pack, a 4-pack, a 6-pack, an 8-pack, that is completely down to genetics of what your mum and dad were up to when they procreated you, and you cannot argue with nature on that one. You can train them as much as you like, but if you are born with a 4-pack, no amount of crunches or sit-ups or anything else is going to turn that 4-pack into a 6-pack. In the same way, you can do bicep curls forever and ever, but if your muscle insertion for your bicep starts here and gives you a shorter peak, you cannot add anything to this. This is just where the muscle starts. No amount of extra bicep work is going to allow the muscle to grow from this point here. That is your insertion and that is your bicep. But you can definitely improve your abs through training them. And there are 2 exercises that I would definitely recommend that you start doing in the gym to help strengthen and build your abs. The first movement is going to be a crunch, like a stability ball crunch or an ab machine crunch or a sit-up, any form of crunching movements. The second movement is going to be that of a raise, some form of a leg raise or knee raise, which can be harder. So if you are new to this movement, I would definitely recommend using a Roman chair to help build up your ab strength initially. Then once you've got enough strength in your abs, go on to obviously a bar and start doing leg raises with the bar and knee raises with the bar. They're the only 2 movements that you really need to focus on to start building your abs. And then if you want to add more ab exercises into your routine for more variety, go ahead and feel free. Training is down to personal preference. So if you enjoy doing something, do it. As long as it's going to allow you to do it consistently, go ahead and go for it and do it. So dude, when it does come to finally getting a 6-pack, the answer isn't to starve yourself. It's not to be doing endless sit-ups thinking that it's going to be causing spot reduction around that belly fat. Instead, ultimately what it will come down to is lowering your total amount of body fat that you are carrying through being in a calorie deficit consistently by following a well-balanced diet until your abs finally become visible, and making sure whilst you are focusing on dropping your body fat that you're training your abs in the gym like any other muscle group as well, rather than neglecting them like every other gym bro does. And that's it. That is the 6-pack shortcut. You need to focus on bringing down your total amount of body fat and just train your abs. And that is it. There is no other secrets to it. Now, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. And if you don't know how to actually drop body fat, then I definitely recommend that you check out this video right here.